Hello everybody, this is a tutorial video for XT-CMS. This video will go through how to configure the CMS after you've installed it. And actually I'm going to try and do a series of videos following this one, basically going through the entire process of setting up and using the CMS with a website, and going through all the different aspects, as well as many of them as I can anyway. Kind of a start to finish tutorial video or series of videos. So there's a video already online that I uploaded a while ago for installing it, so if you need help installing it, check that video out. And in this video I've already got the CMS installed, so I'll be starting from this point. And I've also uploaded a test website basically to a subdomain that I have, test.xtcms.com. And so this is just a template from Zara Designer Pro, and I haven't changed anything on this whatsoever. This is just a straight upload of the entire template website template, so it has all the different pages that come with that, and I've not changed anything at all yet. It's just as is from a straight publish. Okay, so this will be a good one to use because it has things like this JavaScript slider here, so that'll give us a little bit of a challenge. And it has a product section here, so I'll probably look at actually putting kind of some products here, like through the CMS with full shopping cart functionality, and check out the whole lot. Store, this looks pretty much the same as product, so maybe we'll just not update one of those, or maybe, I don't know, we'll have a look at that anyway. News, so again there's a news page here and a blog page. Probably will they're kind of the same thing ish, but anyway. Gallery, yeah, so what's this? This is pop-up images and stuff like that. About page, that's straightforward enough. So there's a nice kind of range of different things there, and we'll try and get the CMS and see how we can integrate it with this kind of website. What else was I going to say? Yeah, so I'm pretty much using, if I go here to the CMS, I'm using the current development version, 1.6. So there might be some differences here between this and what's online at the moment, and also some stuff might change, but generally speaking it'll be pretty much the same. There won't be too much drastic changes. I don't think it'll be, there'll probably be minor things maybe, but so okay, so let's push on with this then, I suppose. So after you've installed the CMS, you'll end up with this page here. You'll go to the admin area, which is basically, I've installed the CMS to a subfolder called CMS here on my website. I'm gonna switch between. I'm gonna show you FileZilla here as well. I'm gonna have to switch between a few different programs demonstrating all of this. So I'm gonna go to my FTP client here, which is FileZilla, and I have here on the right, this is basically the file structure of the website, that subdomain that I'm using, and you can see the index file, the gallery file. These are all the files that the website is using at the moment. And up here is the CMS folder where I've installed the CMS files. This one here is an older version that I just have, but just ignore that one, and this is the one that I'm going to be using. And if I double click in here, these are all the different files for the CMS. So again, the installation video kind of goes through getting to this stage, so I'm not going to spend too much time there. So going back then to the admin page, as I say, when you've installed it, I've installed that CMS, just that CMS directory, and if you type your CMS/admin will bring you to this page to log in, and the default username is admin and the password is admin as well. So the first time you're logging in, use those. If you don't change your password, it'll warn you to do so. So you can click that link to bring you straight to the changed password screen, which is where we want to go now anyway. But also how to get there, if you look down the menu here on the left, under advanced there's a configuration, and if we click there, this is basically the same page where we can change our admin password, but it's also where we need to set the important website settings for when we first are setting up the CMS. So let's change the password first of all. So I'm going to leave the username, I'm just going to change the password, put in the old one, put in a new one, and submit. Okay, so the password has been changed, so next time I log in, that warning should be gone. So these are the website settings. I'm going to go through these one at a time. First one, straightforward enough, the website name. So this is actually displayed up here on all the admin pages, so that you know you're kind of working on your site as if you wouldn't already. But it's good as well if you're passing this on to a client. You know, it's kind of like branded to their website, and you know they're managing their website by logging in here. So I'm just going to change this for the sake of it to my test website, just to show you, and save website settings, and you can see it updates here. This is also used if the CMS is sending emails and things like that. I might use the name, wherever the CMS will mention the website name, this is what's used. Straightforward enough. I'm going to skip these two URLs for the moment, and the website email is also straightforward enough. That's just the email address that the CMS will use when it's sending an email. So any emails it sends this will be the from email address that it uses. One little bit of advice I would say is to try and use an email address with the same domain that you're hosting your website, just to avoid any kind of spam filtering issues or things like that. I mean, you can use any email address, but it's usually best to use one anyway that's on the domain. Okay. Okay, so going back to the two URLs here, the website URL. This is pretty straightforward again. It says here typically this is the homepage URL. Yeah, I mean 99% of the time you're going to want this to be your homepage. It's really just a branding setting. The only place this is used functionality wise, as far as I can remember, is up here. If you click view the website, this is basically a link to bring you to your website's homepage, and thus it uses this. So I'm going to change that to the home page and save the settings again. Obviously you can change them all and save it, but I'm just going to go through one at a time. So again, it's really mostly a branding setting, and if an email is sent, again it might, as well as saying from this email or whatever's from my test website, it'll also maybe include a link to the website maybe in the bottom of the email. The CMS URL then. So this is the tricky one now to understand. This is pretty critical to how things are going to work on the website. What this does is, let me just read this here. It says must point to the main index file for the CMS, and typically this is the home page URL. So yeah, that kind of probably makes no sense maybe, but I have installed, as you know, the CMS has been installed to the CMS directory. So looking back into FileZilla, if we double click in there, there's an index file here, and this is the kind of the gateway to the front end of the CMS. Really tricky to explain this, but hopefully you follow me. So basically, at the moment, if I wanted to bring visitors to, say, some dynamic pages on my website, I would have to send them to test.xtcms.com/CMS, and then all dynamic content would kind of be served from this index file for all the different dynamic pages. So again, 9 times out of 10 you're going to want to probably not run it from a subdirectory, and instead run it from the root of your website. and that will involve moving this index file out there, putting it up here, and editing the little piece of code in it that points to another file. And I'll go through that in a second. But one reason why you might not do that yet is if you do that, you're going to basically do away with your existing index file, which means if I go back to my page here, at the moment our website is running, and as soon as we kind of do that change, we're going to kind of bring the home page down. The other pages would still be fine, but you probably wouldn't be able to get to them by landing on the home page. So really, I would generally leave this change till you're ready to do it. You might not want to do it right away, or you might want to do it right away, especially if it's a new website and it hasn't really launched yet. You're better off actually changing this right away. So I'm going to leave it at that for the moment, and I will come back to this and change it at a different stage, but for now I'm going to leave it. The one other thing I would say is in relation to this is the CMS uses this to generate links and URLs basically. So if I click on, say, the categories page here, the home page in particular here is a dynamically generated page by the CMS, and if I open that up here in a new tab, it says, you can see here it's using that CMS URL to generate the link and the URL, and the dynamic piece on the end is unique to this particular page. So to show you quickly, if I go back to the, let me just close this, if I go back to the configuration page again, and if I change that to say something crazy, just like test for the sake of it, and save website settings. Okay, now when I go back to the categories page, I don't know if you can see down the status bar down the bottom left here, when I hover over it, but it actually shows it as it's generating the links now with test in there instead of CMS. And if I open this page, obviously I'm going to get a 404 file not found. You can see up here test is here, and the reason being is because it's looking, there's no index file in this location. To make it run, say, another quick example, going back to the configuration again, say I wanted to just run this, say I wanted to keep a lot of my existing static website and I just wanted to run maybe a shop off it in a kind of a separated kind of way. I could change this to say shop, for example, save that. Now if I go back to categories again, you'll notice all the URLs are now generated with shop. So if I click open the home page again in a new tab, which is this one here, you can see it's generating them now with shop in it. Again, not file not found, and the reason for that is because, again, if we look at our file structure, we don't have a directory called shop here. So how we would make that work really easily is just to rename CMS here to shop. And now if I go back to our browser and just refresh this page, it's now actually working with this new CMS URL, and this is where all our dynamic pages will come from. Do basically anything from this kind of URL structure on will be dynamic. Now these, by the way, queries on the end here, these can be changed. There's functionality there to use friendly URLs, so eventually you could have something like, instead of that kind of numbers and things like that don't really mean much, you could have you know, shop / I don't know, guitars maybe, and then that would be your friendly URL, and it would bring you to the, maybe that section of the website, or that category, that dynamic category. So again, I'll go into friendly URLs again at a later stage, and we're going to stick with the standard dynamic URLs for the moment. And it's really easy to change this, but I won't do it just yet. Now, okay, so where am I at now? Okay, so going back to configuration again. Okay, now I'm getting a 404 not found here because I've actually changed where the CMS is located. So I'm going to just switch all this back again. I'm going to change shop back to CMS, and just go back to my admin page here. Here we go. So again, that's still set to shop, so obviously we would want to change this back to CMS, so that basically you can see that this CMS URL needs to be in sync with where you have your index file here. Again, I could move this up to, and okay, let's do this really quick, okay? And I'll go through the actual steps for. I'll move my index file up out of here into our root folder now. Now, just quickly, if I look at the home page, we're going to refresh that. Nothing's going to happen because at the moment we still have our old index file here. And in fact, I suppose you could do this as well, and just you can switch between the two. Really easy way of doing that is just to rename your existing index file just to something else, and now it'll load this one by default. So again, I'm going to refresh the page. Boom, home page is gone. It's giving us a file not found error. Okay, sorry, that's loading index.html specifically because Zara kind of generates its links like that. It's kind of looking for that, so I'm just going to go back to the home page manually, and we get a blank page now. The reason being is because we need to update a little piece of code in here. So if I just open this file, you can see in that file it's pointing to a script CMS front.php file, but because we've moved that file up a directory, we now need to tell it to go looking in the CMS directory. We need to save that, and when we upload the new version of that file and then we go back and load the home page, you can now see the CMS is running on the actual home page for the website. When you set it like this, you can really have the CMS. It's the best way to do it if you want the CMS to kind of just run the entire website and all the pages and stuff like that. And by saying that doesn't mean to say every page on your website has to have dynamic content on it. You can easily have you can mix it with static pages, or you can, through the CMS, you can pretty easily use static pages as well as dynamic pages. And I'll go into all that again later. Just going back to FileZilla again, one other thing to do if you do this is go back into your CMS folder, and there's a blank index file here. Just rename that to index, because if I now go up here in the browser, if I go to that CMS directory, it's going to list all our files. It might not, depending on your host or whatever, but if I load it in my situation here, it's displaying all these files, which isn't really good. You don't want to invite trouble onto your website, or hackers or things like that. So the way to avoid that is just simply rename that file to index.php, and then when I refresh it, it just gives us a blank white page when it refreshes. There you go. So that is basically the CMS URL. The trickiest thing to understand, and definitely the trickiest thing to explain, but hopefully that actually explains it some way anyway. So what we'll do now is we're going to switch all back to run off the CMS folder. Oh yeah, sorry, before I do that, I've updated everything to run off this home page, but I should have actually, as well as doing that, I should have changed my CMS URL here to do the same. Again, remember to have this in sync with where you have your index, your main index file, which is this one here, running the CMS. The two of them has to kind of have to both match up or whatever for everything all the links and the URLs just to work properly together. Okay, so where am I going now? Right, so let's switch it back to the way we had it. So let's change this back to CMS. Save that, and let's go back to FileZilla and move our index. Actually, I'm just going to delete this one. Well, no, actually, I'll move it up. Just go through every little step that it explains more. So, move that into the CMS folder here. Rename our index file just to bring back our existing home page. Go to our CMS folder, and here we're going to have to edit this again now, so that it obviously just needs to go there to the existing path. Save that, upload, go back to our CMS, and let me just close all these tabs now because things are going to get confusing. Now if I reload the home page again, you can see it's gone back to our our existing kind of website, static kind of website. And if I just let me refresh this page configuration, so I have this matching it, and again this link here always goes to this website URL. So if I click that, it's going to bring to the home page. So when I test things are running here, it's best to open an actual dynamic page, and the best way to do that is to go to categories and just open this home page. And yeah, so that's how everything's kind of working again there now. Okay, right, so that takes a while to explain. Now let's go back to our configuration page again. Okay, so going back to our configuration page and looking at our website settings. So we've covered what the website name is, the CMS URL, the website URL, website email, and the website theme. This is at the moment, actually I have one uploaded here, my theme, but when you install it first you'll just see default. If I go to back into FileZilla, if you go to the CMS folder again and go into themes, this is the default one, and this is actually just a folder I've created myself. If I delete that just to show you and then refresh this config page, now I've only got the one option. So basically if you add new themes you can select which one you want to use here. Usually you'll probably only you'll have your default and you'll have one other theme that your website will use. But sometimes if you're changing themes and stuff like that, if you don't, you can avoid, maybe you can upload it as a new version of your theme and check it out, and if it doesn't work out, then it's because you haven't overwritten your other theme, you can just simply switch it back. So you might want to upload more than one theme maybe at some point. So the theme, if I again go to categories and then look at this home page, it tells you as you're looking at these pages that it's using the default theme with a bare bones page template, and upload your own custom theme with at least one default page template and then switch the theme in the admin area. So if I go back to FileZilla again, if you look into the default folder, there's a default.php file here, and that's basically the file that's being used, the layout file, template file basically. I'll just quickly open this actually just to have a look. So if I open and look at the source code for this, it's a really bare bones kind of, just again it kind of makes it easy to see what's going on a little bit. So in the body here you have a paragraph of text, so because this is on the template, this will be on every page, and then we have a div here and page, a special page content tag, and this tag is basically replaced with dynamic content that the CMS will serve, and I'll show you how to add that into a proper layout and a design now in a second. So let's close all these and go back to here. Okay, so that's pretty much, once you've got these things all kind of filled out, the CMS is pretty much configured. So the next stage is actually uploading your theme, your page layouts and stuff like that.